Big wood.
Big wood. Oh, we lost one.
Oh. Lost one. You're funny.
We had him and then we lost. Dang, come back. Whoever you are, come back.
Let me close that.
I know. I lost them both. They just disappeared.
That's funny. Oh, well, we have to go on anyway.
The show must go on. Here we go.
Mm-hmm. And welcome to the Gulf Coast Garden Q&A with Todd Farber, Aggie horticulturist, Sugar Land's #1 residential landscaper. It is Tuesday, April the, 11th? 11th. So welcome in tonight. We've got a few questions that I documented from Facebook that y'all wanted answered. And of course, we're always here on Tuesdays at 7:30 to take your Gulf Coast garden or landscaping questions. Todd knows a lot. Nobody knows everything.
A little bit.
But he knows a little bit.
Since 1991.
Right? A long time. So make sure you talk up so we can hear you.
Believe me, they can hear me.
Okay.
I'm not going to go pure country on you.
All right. Great.
For those that you don't remember, that was a George Strait movie.
Yeah, you love
it.
It
resurrected his career.
Yeah, you love that movie.
He was on that downward slide. They presented him the show, and he did it.
Right.
Right back up.
Right back up. Yep. I let it run a little bit tonight. It's 7:34. I was just trying to wait for some people to hop on. Anyway, go ahead and leave your questions for us. Type them in, and we're going to start just like we always do every week with the questions that I received via Facebook.
Yeah, sure.
Best garden soils for new planting. That was the first question that we received. What are?
So I think available to you guys, y'all can go to your local garden center and get a nice pre-mixed rose soil, preferably from Living Earth. We don't work for them. We don't advertise for them. We just know their products, and it's a good blended mix. It's easy to transport to and from your car, and then from your car to your garden area.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of other cheaper mixes, but you're going to get what you pay for.
Mm-hmm.
And I was listening to the Garden Line this past Saturday, and the topic was brought up quite frequently about the specials these big box stores run on soils and mulch.
Go ahead.
Anyway, you're going to get what you pay for. And just because you're paying a cheaper price and you're getting more quantity, you might want to think twice about putting that particular soil and or mulch on your garden.
It's too hot in here. I need to turn on the fan. This is live TV. And then I have a producer to do it for me, so I did it myself. Okay. So you would say rose soil. And then I know the Heirloom Soils is always advertising, and they're good. Yeah. And Luis works for them. I'm sure that's good. The Heirloom Soils are, I'm sure, very good soils. Whatever, they have a rose soil too.
Yeah, you'll have to do your research and whatever's closest to you or whatever your garden's, but just don't go buy the cheapest blended soil mix.
Well, you get what you pay for, I guess, right?
It's like everything else in life.
Okay, Lan Pham always has great questions. Hopefully she'll see this later, or hopefully she's watching. But she has this question. If my plants haven't come back by now, should I say a prayer for them or buy new plants? I thought that was pretty funny.
Well, since we're almost in the middle of April, I think it's time to go purchase some new plants.
I told her prayer was good, though. It's not going to save
never
her plants.
hurt, but what you'll see and what you've described, you may have a little bit of growth coming back, but that little bit of growth is not going to really turn into a full-blown plant again, more than likely. And a lot of times gardeners just aren't wanting to wait, till the end of the summer. It's like, oh, I don't want to spend the $30. Well, what's that part of the garden worth to you? It boils down to, we were talking about on walk tonight, time versus money. If you got more time than you have money, let it grow out. But if it doesn't grow out, you've missed 3 or 4 months of butterfly, hummingbird attraction that you can't get back. So I would just replace. Now, like I tell my clients, you're not replacing 40 of them. So
that's true.
It's not a big, and if you're going to get out and garden and it's your hobby anyway, then you've got to have a little bit of money, whether it's landscape or gardening. And that's just the way it rolls in our industry.
So she asked about specific plants, but it doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, if they're dead, they're dead.
Yeah. And
she said dwarf fairy duster, firecracker bush, hummingbird bush, and the new gold lantana.
Yeah, the last 3 out of the 4, I'm not really familiar with the first one, but we're on houses every day, and if yours isn't coming back, one of those last 3, it's not coming back.
Land, you're gonna have to replace them.
Yeah.
That's the best thing to do. And then that way, like he said, you can take advantage. And we've had beautiful weather. I mean, past couple
And maybe
days.
it's time for you to use that part of the garden for something new. It doesn't always have to be. I tell my clients that if you're willing to change, maybe change it up a little bit. Maybe that camellia got too big. And you've always complained about, well, it gets so big, we cut it back every year, or it freezes. And it just takes up this whole space. We wish we had some more room in this one little. Well, maybe now's the time to dig up what's left of it and plant something you really want.
That's a good point. Yeah,
so
good point. Good point. Okay, next question.
I'm full of good points tonight.
You're full of it, dear. Yes,
Yeah.
you are. Ha ha. All right. Good morning. Sharon Harris says, "How would?" Oh, this is the one you looked at.
Yeah.
She said, "Indian heather fair in Houston's changing weather, or are they good shade trees?" So Todd was stumped by that, and he looked it up. She may have meant what?
So,
Indian hawthorn?
What I think you may have seen is one of the older varieties of Indian hawthorn that have been allowed to grow into like a small tree form. I looked up that specifically as you typed it, and there's no such thing that I saw as an Indian heather tree, and I've never heard of such a thing in 30 plus years in this industry.
And if somebody on here knows that plant, then type it in.
Please do.
we don't know about it, so we don't. So Sharon, we don't think that. If you see this later and you look up the plant again, or you get a different name, then resubmit that to us. I thought this was a good one about fences. I'll just show you. This works. Y'all can see this. This lady had that new fence put in, and it has that black iron on the edge. Anyway, it's nice, I guess. It's kind of odd the way it's on the side, but she said they paid a landscaper to do the garden. The grass and plants are fine. She wants to put something, I guess, to cover the fence or to go over the fence. What would you put there?
Well, let's see. I don't really like the black frame around it, but she's kind of stuck with it.
About that.
So,
can y'all see that this fence was built with a looks like a black iron frame, and she doesn't like that part. I mean, I don't know if we're going to actually be able to help her with this, but he can suggest some things, I guess, that you can put on the fence. So
obviously, when you build a new fence, you've put a lot of money and thought into it, and it looks great, and it's brand new. And if you had to stain it, it's going to stay that way for just a little while, and then it starts to fade. In this particular instance, I think they might need some height down that stretch of fence, maybe 3 of some type of evergreen.
They need some kind of plant in front of it, like put a landscaping bed there, huh? Well,
they have kids that like to use the yard, so they did the beds on purpose around the perimeters to keep the yard for the kids.
Gotcha.
So
what would you put there?
Something like a blue point juniper, and I'd probably do 3 of them spaced out just to give you some definition and some greenery along the fence.
Yeah, I think that would look better than just the blank.
Something that's not going to grow too fast and not going to need a lot of care.
I like that.
Because we're all about low maintenance here at Garden Guy.
Low maintenance. Okay, Doris Myrick is speaking about plumbago in this question. She said her plumbago took a beating with a hard freeze. She cut the dead back. She has a few coming back, but not like they were. Should she put straw around them next winter? Would that help?
I think yes and no. I think as cold as we got during that heavy freeze, the insulation.
I mean, mulch is more what you recommend.
No, but she's got a good point, because the plumbago are higher than what you could do with mulch. You're not going to mound something up. So, but plumbago is also semi-tropical, so they're not going to handle cold down much past 29, 30 degrees. They're going to start tip freezing and freezing back. So
there's not much you can do.
You can try. I mean, it's not going to hurt if your plants are really healthy going into a freeze. Yes, get some straw, and then once the freeze is done, pull the straw back.
And what about freeze cloth?
Well, yeah, that.
I mean, freeze cloth, Doris, would be good too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think.
No, absolutely.
Both things would be good. Yeah.
I think you've got better coverage with freeze cloth. There's a lot of air that's going to penetrate with just straw.
Yeah, and if you're I mean, who knows what kind of weather we're going to have this year, but that's the kind of thing I think you should plan ahead for. And it may be summertime and you're like, I think I'm going to go ahead and get my freeze cloth. I'm going to have it.
Amazon.
Yeah, I mean,
every
honestly,
day of the week.
They have tons of it, and you could have it in your garage ready and whatever stakes you need. Yeah. And then when the weather comes, you're not frantically trying, especially if you love your plants and your landscaping and you want to protect them, plan ahead. right?
Yeah, so you're not fighting all the crowds like if we have a hurricane for the last gallon of milk or the last whatever on the shelf at Home Depot because it starts flying off and they can't stock enough of it. But if you, like Serena said, if you plan ahead, order it from Amazon, put it in your garage somewhere where you can easily access.
Yeah,
it's easily accessible, and then
Put
pull it out
there
when you need it.
Yeah. Also, there's companies that come out and cover too. We had one client who had his stuff professionally
Yeah.
covered. I mean, they did a great. I don't know who it was, but they did a great job. Amy Vecchio. Oh, that was Amy. Okay. This was a question that came in today. Where is the best place to shop for vegetable plants? I guess she doesn't want the seeds. She wants like
your independent garden centers.
Yeah. So
just because
Enchanted.
Go ahead.
No, Enchanted. I always forget. Buchanan's.
Cornelius.
Cornelius, yeah.
So you want to go to your independent garden centers. They take a lot better care of the plants they actually order in. They don't have a practice of writing off dead merchandise. And everybody orders from Bonnie's. Bonnie's is the provider of, your smaller
vegetable
plants. But you and I both know the care that is not given to the plants after they've been at Home Depot or Lowe's for a day or two.
That's true.
And you start picking through to find something that isn't wilted, so you're better off going to.
So the smaller garden centers, Jim, would be best.
But I will tell you that Lowe's gets their new shipment every Thursday from Bonnie. So if you catch them in time, you get it fresh off the truck.
That's true. Well, that was the last of those questions. I'm going to check and see if anybody has a comment or question real quick. Nothing yet. So I will remove that. And I will say that I shared today a nice post from the Fort Bend County, Master Gardeners. They had a nice post that I shared about the crepe myrtle, and they called it the lilac of the South, which I guess it is. I've never heard it called that, but it's lovely. Of course, we love the crepe myrtle. I shared this on Facebook. The question they had, I think they said they have a help desk where people ask questions, which I didn't know about that. But essentially, a lot of people ask, should I cut my crepe myrtle? Should I trim my crepe myrtle? And I thought their answer was good. Pretty much, they've got some listed things here, but I think it's like what you recommend and what Randy Lemon, of course, no crepe murdering. Don't just cut it off with a chainsaw.
Right. But the particulars are what a professional or somebody that has some horticulture knowledge would assess a tree, not just a crepe myrtle, but in this case, the crepe myrtle, what branches to start removing. And then that way you take out the fear of, I'm going to butcher it. Because
so what they said was have a reason to prune. And I think that's really good because, and I never thought about it that way. And I wrote a whole article on it, and it's on the blog about what to do with the crepe myrtle and not to crepe murder and all that. But they don't really need a lot of cutting.
No.
I think that's what Fort Bend County Master Gardeners are saying. And like we talked about, it gives landscapers something to do, whatever. It's become this habit, but they don't really need much care. You need to keep them like away from your roof or your windows. You need to cut away dead or damaged. If they're rubbing together, low lying or posing a hazard or rubbing against a building, and then remove the suckers from around the bottom. But that's pretty much it, right? Mm-hmm. I thought this was good.
So we get questions all the time.
It's going to be up there, honey.
Crepe myrtle prolifically blooming in the, I guess, right-hand corner, left-hand corner. Why don't my crepe myrtles ever look like that? It's because you prune them too dang much. This is a perfect example of a crepe myrtle that's been has been pruned.
Overpruned?
Not pruned correctly? Pruned correctly, yes.
That's what you're trying to say, yeah.
It's been limited in its pruning.
Yeah, I don't think that you need to just
let the tree do what it's going to do.
Yeah.
A good, beautiful crepe myrtle should look like an upside down umbrella or an umbrella.
Nice.
The canopy. That's what I always tell my clients. You pick up any old Southern Living magazine, and they've got these huge crepe myrtles from Georgia, South Carolina.
South Carolina.
And it's,
type in the comments. I see some of y'all watching what your favorite color is in a crepe myrtle.
But let your crepe myrtle canopy out.
Yeah. Type in the comment what your favorite color of a crepe myrtle is. Hi, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike. Thanks for the azamine. I'm going to go pick that up tomorrow. I appreciate your generosity, sir.
Hey, I think you're our only viewer tonight, so thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in.
We can always depend on Mike.
You guys depend on Mike to watch us, but people watch later, so that's why we keep doing this, because it's good content for our page and good information for viewers later on. Which is
now,
good.
Mike, do you like the Natchez in the white, the hybrid, or do you like one of the smaller cultivars that are in the white.
Yeah, Mike, since you're
color.
the only person here, we can actually say, what color crepe myrtle do you
Well,
like?
he likes white, but I was asking him if he likes the natchez, which is
Oh.
the large ones we have out front here.
Yeah, we have those. What's the other one though?
Well, there's a bunch of varieties that don't get that tall that are white as well.
Oh, sure. I like
So,
the purple one. The dark purple one over
Muskogee.
here. Yeah, Muskogee. I like that one. I like them all. I think crepe myrtles are beautiful.
Hey, why do all crepe myrtles have Indian names?
I don't know.
Have you ever thought about that?
No.
Muskogee, Natchez.
Yeah, but this is Basham Party Pink.
Well, that one didn't quite get
That's
it.
a Texas super. The Basham Party Pink is a Texas superstar.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, Natchez. Yes, we do too. In the front of our house.
We do too, Mike.
They're really beautiful when they bloom. They're so gorgeous. Love them. And they're, like we were saying, you shouldn't do much to them unless Todd doesn't, unless they're rubbing the roof
Correct.
or something like that. Or
your neighbors don't like where they're hanging.
our neighbor sometimes doesn't like the flowers. They're so beautiful. I mean, the flowers are so pretty. It's when they fall, and they do make a mess, but it's kind of a beautiful mess, I think.
Unless it's around the pool.
Yeah, not around
But
the
people
pool.
with pools still like them too. It's like there's nothing else that blooms like a crepe myrtle.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, they're beautiful flower petals that fall into the pool. It's better than some other things I could think of.
Yeah, just a lot of maintenance for that time period.
That's true.
But you know what? You cannot have the crepe myrtle, and your neighbor does. So why not have one in your own yard? You're going to get their blossoms too. It's not like they magically just fall
right.
in their yard.
Right. No, that's
true. In
true.
the perfect world, you'd not have crepe myrtles within 60 to 120 feet of your house.
That's true. Well, I'm going to hop over and show y'all the recommended flower or plant. We always do each week something that Todd recommends. And this week it is something that everybody knows and most people love, and it's easy peasy. It's the knockout rose.
Woohoo.
Or as their website, they call themselves the knockout family of roses.
Yes.
Because I believe they started with one. Some guy discovered it or whatever.
Hey, do you realize that the guy that plant bred the knockout rose, because it's a patented rose, he gets $1 from everybody that produces that rose. So do the math.
Does he really? Are you sure?
Yes.
Well, good for him, because how many songwriters have written songs or whatever and they don't get a nickel? And you're like, why are you bankrupt, Billy Joel?
So,
right?
So all these plant breeders are trying to find the next knockout, but there hasn't really been one that has taken off and then has morphed into the drift roses and the family of knockouts.
I like the sweet.
Needless to say, the inventor of the knockout rose is quite wealthy.
He's wealthy. Well, here's a little more for him. We're going to show you this video of one of our favorites and easy to care for, guys. It is the knockout rose.
The great yellow sun is reflecting in your deep blue eyes. The day has begun. You spin around, you laugh to yourself. And I see you shine in every color, resting your head in my arms.
Okay, we're back. Is the sweet drift rose a knockout rose?
Yeah, it's in the.
I really like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm amazed by those roses because we have those at our country property, which is on a dirt road. They still haven't paved it. And the oil tankers sometimes go up. I mean, it's a mess.
Yeah.
And they're throwing dirt and dust all the time. And sometimes it doesn't rain up there at all.
For months.
I mean, literally. And those roses, they're covered in dust. We don't have irrigation up at the front gate, and they're still blooming.
Yeah, just do their thing.
So, I mean, everybody should have some of those in their yard.
At least two.
I think you should. I think they're very pretty, and you literally, do you ever see people that kill them?
No. So what you need to realize with the knockout rose, the original red, double red, pink, double pink, so forth and so on, they will get leggy, and you need to make sure that where they are planted in a landscape, they have room to grow. I don't believe they belong in a front yard. That's where we drop down and use the drift roses because of their size
I like those too.
And the impact that they make. Not to say I don't like the other knockouts. It's just there's a place for everyone. And just like any plant, if it's planted in the wrong place, you're going to constantly be trimming because it's growing into something else. It's not going to bloom as much because you're constantly trimming because it's growing into something else. So be wise about your decision and give it plenty of space to grow.
No roses in your landscape, Mike. Why? Maybe he doesn't like them.
Oh,
He said none.
I don't know.
Well, speaking of roses, if you are near First Colony Mall on Saturday, you can come meet us in person. We're just regular people. But anyway, we are in a partnership with J. Jill. They approached us to be a part of their introduction of their spring clothing collection. So J. Jill at First Colony Mall, which is right next to Sephora, we will be there this Saturday, the 15th, from 11 to 2.
Mm-hmm.
Todd will be answering any questions that people have. But the best part is we're going to be giving away prizes, 5 double pink knockouts, and a free landscaping consultation with this guy, which is valued at $250. So if you're watching this now or you're watching it later, please come and see us. There are going to be refreshments too. So not only can you get a prize, but you can get free food.
Hey.
J. Jill is doing all this, and we're so honored to be a part of it. So they're doing bundt cakes and sparkling waters. I don't know, finger foods. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, so if you can't get out in your garden on Saturday because of the rain they're expecting, come see us at J. Jill.
That's true. Come see us at J. Jill. That's in Sugar Land at First Colony Mall. If you park near Barnes & Noble, you should see J. Jill, the store. It's right next to Sephora. So hopefully y'all can come, and we're going to give away a knockout rose about every hour, just randomly. And then we're going to have you sign up for the landscaping consultation. So like I said, we're very excited and honored that J. Jill would want us to be part of the spring introduction of their spring clothing line, and then kind of bringing us in there with the springtime theme of being a local landscaper. So we're excited about that. And you can win a double pink, right?
Double pink.
Double pink knockout. Oh, Mike has bad memories of trimming them as a kid. I can understand that. Sure. You got to do what makes you happy in your landscape. You got to do what works for you. All right, let's go over. And I did not have an actual makeover this week. So what I did was I just called it Garden Guy Favorites, or like, you know, some of our hits. I went through tons of pictures, and I pulled like a minute or so worth of some stuff that maybe you haven't seen. And there's some stuff that maybe you have seen if you follow us, but I think it's a pretty good video and fun to watch. So that is coming up next, and I'm going to take us. And that is just a few. I mean, you could sit for hours and watch the pictures of what this guy has done for 30 plus years. And that was a lot more pixelated than I expected it to be. The quality wasn't very good on that, so I apologize.
Sorry about that.
So I apologize for that. But anyway, that's what I had for this week. And now I'm going to see if y'all have any more questions for us or comments. Here is a good question. It is Joan Taylor. Oh, yes, you asked that. Actually, we covered that in just a second. So I'm glad you joined us tonight, Joan. I don't think you've been on before. She had asked, and here she is now. We did answer this, but thanks for joining. We're glad you're here. The best place, Todd says, to buy them are at the locally smaller owned nurseries like Enchanted Gardens or Cornelius Nurseries and Buchanan's. And then you also said that
Lowe's usually gets their new stock in on Thursday. Everybody orders from Bonnie's, so they're getting the same. It's just the care that's taken after they receive them. So Lowe's usually gets their new stock in on Thursday. So hit Lowe's up. I don't know about Home Depot on Thursdays, and then you get fresh plants. But after a couple of days sitting on their parking lot, they're not so desirable.
Right. So, Enchanted is a sure thing, and Cornelius, they take good care of their stock. You should be able to get good stuff there, Joan. Any other questions, Joan? You can type it in. Thanks for joining and asking your question tonight. Get that stuff in the ground because it's plenty warm enough. The soil's warm enough.
Spring's moving along.
Yeah. We planted our garden at our country property and everything. Todd says I didn't go last weekend, but he said everything's coming up nicely, right?
Yeah, we have a lot of weeds, but the plants themselves are really doing well. The potatoes and the onions, and I'm a little bit disappointed in the onion sets that I bought this year. They were a little on the small side because I bought what Lowe's had left over. And if I had waited till I went to Tractor Supply that same weekend, they had some that were triple the size that I bought. But, you live and you learn. So we're just having to catch up, but they're doing fine. I mean, they'll still produce the onions. It's just.
And all the potatoes you said were really coming up really well.
Doing well. And then the tomatoes are as thick and as
You're welcome, Jen. I'm glad you joined us
as tonight. I've ever seen them in our garden. They're not real leggy. The canes themselves, stalks. And then we have bees up there too. So we have a lot of pollination going on.
Yeah, you're a beekeeper too, huh?
Yeah.
Man of many talents. Well,
but
thank
master
you, Joan.
of none. Right?
Oh, please, you're master of many things. Thank you, Joan. Thank you, Joan, for joining us tonight, truly. Oh, there's Lan. Hey, Lan fam. Hello. Hey, we answered your question, but we'll go through it again. Todd said, you said, if my plants haven't come back by now, should I say a prayer for them or get new ones? And Todd said,
more prayer, but you need to go buy new plants.
Go ahead and pray because it's always good, but you're going to need to buy new plants, he said. Plus, I thought go ahead and run your comment again, baby.
So what we run into a lot of times, a plant that doesn't make it back that may have taken up too much room in the garden, but it always comes back. My clients tell me maybe it's time to change up that part of the garden area to do something different. If you can bring yourself, it doesn't have to be a big 7-foot tall Hamelia in that corner anymore. Just dig it out because it didn't come back, and it's been there for 15 years. But maybe there's so many different varieties of things you can do to lower the structure, the size in a corner or whatever part of the garden you're trying to, because what ends up happening, those plants get so big you can't do anything else around them because they take up all the moisture and they take up all the sun. Because anything planted closer to the ground, they get shaded out.
But Todd was saying if they haven't come back by now, that they're probably not coming back, Lan, and also that you're missing out on the growing season.
Yeah,
right
the
now.
best time of the year,
Yeah.
and when your hummingbirds and butterflies will be visiting your garden, and if you don't have anything for them to visit, they're going to move on.
Right. So this is a good time for you to carpe diem, seize the day.
Absolutely.
Get you some new plants, girl. Get you some new plants. I appreciate your questions, Lan. They're always good questions and fun for me to put together and give to Todd. So love that. She said, all right, she needs some big plants to cover the fence. Well, if you drop me a picture on Facebook somewhere or direct message me there, I will show it to Todd and we'll make a suggestion for you.
Well, in that case, Lan, though, you would want to go back with your Hamelias and stuff that grow bigger, but you just need to get some new ones.
Yeah, I need to get the new ones.
Just get some new ones and start afresh.
Yep, start fresh. And come see us this Saturday at the J. Jill, which is next to Sephora at First Colony Mall, Sugar Land. We're going to be there from 11 to 2 with free refreshments. And I guess they'll have a little music, and we're going to be milling around, and we're going to give away 5 double pink knockout roses. So maybe you can win one, Lan, if you come in. And we'd love to see you. And you get to see all of J. Jill's beautiful new spring clothing line, too, which is fun for women. And, hey, men can come, too, and kind of loiter and eat the food.
Absolutely.
Because why not? It's free food, right? And then if you're bored, if you're a man there, you can go walk around to the other stores, I guess. But it'll be a fun time on Saturday from 11 to 2 at J. Jill at First Colony Mall. What did she say? It's too far for her. Oh, sure. I understand. That's fine.
Another question.
Joan, good. You have another question. We love that. Best peach varieties. Do you know those offhand?
Well, no, there's so many that would grow here. You have to do some research and check out the chilling hours and whether you want a freestone peach or a cling free peach. But
so she should research according to our zone.
Yes.
And then whether she wants a freestone
or cling
peach. So do it like that, Joan. Do your research.
And then see, and then narrow it down to what you might like, and then you can start calling around, not Home Depot or Lowe's, but some of your private or smaller family-owned gardens that are Enchanted Gardens,
Cornelius, and
Enchanted
Beacons.
Forest, and see if they have that particular variety in stock.
Right. You
So,
can order that stuff too. We've ordered from Stark Brothers. We like Stark Brothers, STARK Brothers. They're in Missouri.
in Missouri, and they are bare root, which
Yeah.
you're getting a smaller plant. You got to do a little bit more to get them to grow. The plants you're going to find in the nursery are 2 years old, and they're in a 5-gallon container.
That's true. Well, I will say, that's just because we're talking this out. I like to use, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think, Joan, if you go to Stark Brothers website, I think they do a good job of telling you
They do.
which peach or apple, whatever, would be best for you. So maybe hop on their website, I think it's Stark Bros, like STARKBROS, something like that. They're in Missouri. Hop on their site. It's real easy to use, and put in your zone, and then it will probably recommend which peaches will work here, because they want you to be successful when you buy from them. They've been around for a long time.
Over
and like you
100
said,
years,
over 100 years. You could buy the smaller one there, but you could at least use the Stark Brothers website as a place to get the actual one, and then you can call around here or whatever you want to do.
Get your information from.
And then I
Starbucks.
know from the trees that we have at the farm, we don't have peach, but I know, just so you know, Joan, it takes a long time to get fruit off. It doesn't.
3 to 5 years. You might have a bunch of fruit set on little trees, but not a good idea to keep them because their weight is going to do damage to the branches.
Oh, that's true. The tree needs to get bigger.
So you might want to keep 1 or 2 just to see what it tastes like if it does produce it. But if it comes to the nursery and you buy it and it's set 100 fruits already, you don't want to keep 100 fruits on something that's not even 5 feet tall. It's not going to work.
Yeah, Joan, sure. So the first thing you want to do, Joan, just as a review, is to make sure that you order the right one.
Yeah.
And go ahead and, just to make it easy, use Stark Brothers, see what they recommend. They're going to tell you the right peach, and then either order it from them and expect it to be smaller, and they guarantee their stock because we've ordered from them, or you can take the name that you get from there and then try to find it around
So
here.
the difference between buying and
The peaches grow in Houston?
yeah,
Oh,
they
okay.
do well here. So the difference between buying a 2-year-old peach tree that has not been properly pruned, because and ours are not properly pruned at our farm because I've bought the older trees. However, if you buy from Stark Brothers and they come in as a whip, which is just one single,
A little strand.
you determine how it grows once it roots out and starts putting out its branches to create that open bowl
Oh yeah, looks like this.
trimming. But the ones that you're going to buy at the store have already predetermined branches, and you're not going to be able to open center the pruning as
It's
easy.
kind of better to have the whip in, huh?
It just takes longer.
It's kind of like getting a child younger. You can
Yeah,
train
you
them better.
can train them better. There you
Or a
go.
puppy. I guess people are more into animals now, but I had a whole mess of kids, so I trained them early.
If you want your peach trees, plum trees to look more traditional, like they were in an orchard that you visited on vacation somewhere, you would need to start it from probably Stark Brothers.
From a whip, yeah. And then I it's just me because I
There's
loved Martha Stewart stuff. Martha Stewart always did the best. I mean, there's a million things you can look at on the internet, but you can drive yourself insane. She always had some great diagrams of how to do the peach tree trimming and the, I don't know. I thought it was great, but I like her knowledge base. I'm not saying she's the greatest person or whatever, but I loved her talents and her gifts, and then how she shaped all of her trees, of course, produced the best fruit ever.
But remember, the best time to plant a tree is yesterday.
Right. I hope that helps you, Joan. You had some great questions, and we're glad you joined us tonight. Let's see. Peach orchards. Oh, that's true. I don't think there are any peach.
Not
Not in
down here.
Houston.
No.
No, not down here, Mike. That's a good point, though. But there's no peach orchards down here. But that's a great point, because if there were Georgia, that's what I think of for peaches. And then when I was a kid in Indiana, I'm pretty sure peaches grew pretty well up there. So lots of pecan orchards down here.
Fredericksburg is the king of peach orchards here in
That's
Central
true.
Texas.
That's true, Mike. That would be Fredericksburg. But that's a good point, Mike. Thank you for saying that. And Lan said, can you? Oh, yeah, you can definitely rewatch it. As soon as we finish this, Lan, it'll be live. It just posts itself onto Facebook, and then you just can drag back through and rewatch. Absolutely. And you can share our video too, which helps us out a lot. You can absolutely rewatch it, and we appreciate that if you do. So Joan said she grew up on a farm in Kentucky. You have the basics. Yeah, exactly. You do have to learn what grows best.
Sure.
Here. Yeah. So I would use Stark Brothers. I'm sure there's a million other sites you could use, but we like them. They've been around for over 100 years. They're not going to steer you wrong on the type.
No, and like Sabrina said, they really make it easy by putting in your zone and then giving you the varieties
Yep.
with the appropriate chill hours that will do well here in our area.
And then you can see if you want a bigger tree, you can try to find it locally, or you can just order it from them. You just have to wait.
Yeah. They do have different sizes available with their bare root, anywhere from, I think it's 18 to 24 inches up from 24 to like 48 inches. And they send them in a cardboard box with some wet newspaper. And then there's appropriate steps that you need to take prior to putting them in the ground. But
My
make sure.
pawpaw died.
Yeah. Well, they were too small.
I wanted to grow a pawpaw tree like they do in Indiana, but it didn't work out for us.
Didn't work.
It didn't work.
But I told her she could get another one.
But he
try
did.
again.
Oh, he said we can try it again. So, okay, Joan, those are great questions, and I'm glad that you. I'm glad you moved from Kentucky to Texas. I started to say Tennessee because I had family in Kentucky and Tennessee. Anyway, we're glad to have you down here because I'm from Indiana. Good questions. Good questions. Good interaction tonight. I like these questions. Yeah, I think for anybody who is looking for trees or even good vegetable plants, you want to first go to the nicer nurseries, the more locally owned. And like you said, even though you taught me this, even though they kind of get the same stuff, they take better care of it. Because I never would have understood that. Although we're not going to lie to you, we do buy plants from Kroger sometimes.
Absolutely.
I mean, we look through, and if it's been taken good care of and we like it, Todd snaps it up.
So,
HEB too. You buy trees from.
well,
Don't lie. You buy trees from.
no,
HEB.
it's true. So these vendors, these stores, they all buy from the same growers.
Hold on. We're saying that we bought fruit trees from HEB. Okay.
Absolutely.
So in what case, Garden Guy, would you buy a fruit tree from HEB? There.
If it's something I was interested in growing and it has been watered on a regular basis.
If they take good care of it. Yeah.
But once again, you have to get them when they first come in because they're all buying from the same growers. It's just a matter of when they get them in. So you'll see across the board at the different grocery stores, the Home Depot, the Lowe's, they are the same, especially with the vegetables, it's Bonnie's. They don't, they don't use anybody but Bonnie's, but it's like, well, I went out to Enchanted Gardens and their vegetables from Bonnie's were so much healthier than the ones it's because the care they get, so
that's good for people to know.
Seeing plants and buying them in front of the grocery store, they're just buying in bulk. They want you to buy them. And honestly, if they haven't sold them within a week and they don't get watered properly, they go in the trash and they just write them off.
Tell them the tip if you're looking at a Tangerine Beauty Crossvine, which is a Texas superstar. And
we had that. We had that designated as one of our favorites.
Yeah, it's one of our favorites. The Tangerine Beauty Crossvine, beautiful, easy to grow, heat tolerant, all that stuff. Where did you see them today? Like you said, 10 gallons?
They were massive.
10 gallons?
At Houston Garden Centers over in Missouri City. We're in the middle of April. The stuff is fresh. The employees are watering regularly. And we were on our walk. You get what you pay for. You're going to pay a little bit more or a lot more for a larger plant, but it's time versus.
How long do you want to wait? I mean, if you want to invest more in the 10-gallon Tangerine Beauty Crossvine, then you get it's more beautiful, larger, more blossom sooner.
Or if that's not it's not going to fit in your area at that particular size, then they have some 3 gallons on the racks within the store or within the nursery itself. So you have some options, but everything's looking good. Really, everything is looking good right now. Everything's in bloom. So for all you non-gardeners or once a year gardeners that are very visual.
Right. You can really see what the plants actually look like. If you're not like Todd and you know every plant. I don't. So if I went up there, I'd want to buy everything because I could see how beautiful it is.
And so that's the deal with, blooming plants. That's what draws you to them is their flowers. But what does it look like when it's not blooming? Is that something you want in your garden still?
That's true. And since now we have the internet and you have your phone, you can always look it up.
Absolutely.
Well, I saw another question. What's the name of the app that you use to identify plants?
Picture this.
Ooh, that is a good tip for tonight. What an interesting app and what a neat app. I think even we didn't have it for my kids when we were homeschooling, but if we had it, I would have used that as a tool to teach them, or I would have not given them a smartphone. But hello, I would have had my phone and I would have said, hey, let's shoot a picture of this and see what it is. What a great learning tool for kids and for adults.
And I use it every day in my business. I don't know all the plants or weeds or whatever it is. And so if I'm stumped at a client's house and I don't want to say I'll have to get back to you this, I pull out my phone, pull up picture this, take a picture of it. Within a few seconds, based on self-service, I get the answer what I'm looking for.
And there's Google Lens too, which I think is a little harder to use personally. But if you have a newer iPhone, you can use Google Lens. But is it called Picture This?
Picture This.
Picture This does a much better job. And we use it too, like when we're in another state and we just want to know, what is this? You know, we're not from, I like it. I think it's fun. Like I said, I would use it with grandchildren or any children. I think it would be a wonderful tool to teach them.
Yeah,
Plus,
absolutely.
they want to use the phone. You know, they take a picture and then they can learn about it. They could make a project of what they learned.
So you're able to take a picture of a flower. It'll identify it. You're able to take a picture of just the trunk of a tree, and it identifies the bark
That's amazing.
of that particular tree. It can even identify the cross section. If a tree has been cut down, you can take a picture of the stump.
Oh, really?
This is what they advertise. And
That's
then
amazing.
just a regular plant, you know, that's not flowering. And it's pretty much 100% accurate all the time. Now, like for azaleas, it's going to come up azaleas. It's not going to give you, oh, this is a George Tabor or this is a Gigi Gerbing. It's just going to give you the requirements it takes to grow and all the specifications, what problems may have. So it's very informative, you know, as you scroll down from the particular plant.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. Picture this, get it for your phone and you can use it. I don't know, if you enjoy plants or nature, it's just,
I think it's
great to have.
Like $10 a year, something like that. Well worth the investment. I mean, the first day I loaded it up, it paid for, I mean, it's not hard to make back $10. But
right. But even like I said, you could use it with your kids or grandkids or nieces or nephews to teach them about creation or nature, wherever your bent is on that. So I think it's wonderful. And Lynn has something to say. Ooh, yeah, great for foraging. You better use that for foraging.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so here's something.
Oh, here we
I'll
go.
never forget reading this. Okay, we have a friend, our realtor that's in Missouri. She likes to forage for morel mushrooms. And that's great. Maybe you do that too, Joan. Maybe you like to forage for mushrooms. I read a story once, a true story, and I don't have it with me. I wish I had picked it up for tonight. There was a guy who had a lot of money, and one of his hobbies was foraging, and he loved to do mushrooms, and he had a bunch of people over one night, yada, yada, yada. And he fed them the mushrooms that he had foraged that day or the day before. Yeah. And I guess he didn't eat one or he got a different one. He paralyzed like 6 people.
Yeah.
True story. Something that he gave them. I wish I had the specifics, but oh my goodness. That's a little too risky for Sabrina. But anyway, foraging is cool. I just think that's an interesting story to share with y'all. Yeah, great for foraging. Please use it. And please don't eat the wrong mushroom. Whew. Oh, let's see what Lan says. Yes. Picture this tells me all my roses are China roses.
Well, and that's a particular situation. You already know that the plant is a rose. You're not trying to identify it. I just, you know, what if you're trying to find the variety, you need to do a little bit more research, but it's going to pull up that that's a rose. If you're walking through the woods and you're not familiar with the foliage of a particular plant, it's like, oh, it's a variety of rose.
We use this a lot because he takes me out into the woods.
Yes.
Because I married him, I had to learn to go into the woods. I saw a picture today when I was rifling through our 1 million photos on Shutterfly and Google Photos, whatever. How many pictures can you have? Anyway, we don't really have 1 million. I'm kidding, but a lot.
957,000 and counting.
I never gone camping in my life ever. I never. And we didn't have 2 nickels when we got married, and we went camping. And he took me camping, tent camping. Never been tent camping. Oh my gosh, you should see me tent camping. That didn't last very long. That didn't last very long, guys. Anyway, but I'm not sure how I got on that topic. I just remembered a picture of you and I. We were pretty cute. Cody was a little guy.
Something in the woods.
In the woods. And we're in the woods again. And then we're in the woods again. But I'll go to the woods with you because I love you.
Yep.
Very much.
Hey, Hilly.
Hey, Hilly. Heidi ho. Did she say that in high school?
No.
Oh, okay. I don't know you. Todd knows you. Heidi ho.
No, that's what Tim, the Toolman Taylor's neighbor, used to say on the other side of the fence.
Oh,
Heidi ho,
neighbors.
neighbor.
Oh, I didn't get the reference. I'm sorry, Hildy. I'm sorry, Hilly. Let me go down here. Joan says, yes, hallucinogenic mushrooms. Is that what those were, Joan? Hallucinogenic? Ouch. So That is, you could actually pick something like that in the woods and it would actually paralyze
I'm buying
you.
my mushrooms from the store.
I'm gonna buy mine from HEB.
There you go.
I'm gonna cook them in a little butter with some onion. That's how I roll. But anyway, yeah, that's whew. Let me see what else we got here. Yes, that's where she got that reference. Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't get that one, Hilly. But that's cute.
What do you call the big old mushroom, cantrell, or what do they call them? The ones you can use like hamburger.
Oh, shiitake?
Yeah, shiitake.
Is that shiitake?
Or chanterelle mushroom?
No, chanterelle's smaller.
Oh, anyway.
No, I think it's shiitake. Like you can use like a hamburger bun. Yeah. Well, they get those at the grocery store.
Anyway, I'm not going out foraging for mushrooms. The only one I would eat if I had to would be the
morel.
The morel. Nothing else. Well, I'm not going to say nothing because they do. There are some.
Oh gosh.
Anyway, no mushrooms for me. Okay.
All right. Hilly was late. She's watching the game. Or the Astros win?
I guess.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm clueless. I don't know. Yeah. You got to be so careful, Joan, when you're foraging. I mean, I eat dewberries. I know what those are.
Yeah.
What else have we eaten that's just been in the wild? That's probably about it.
Yeah.
Anything else when we're camping or?
No.
No, we get our food from the store unless we grow it like in our garden or something. So anyway, well, now there's a bunch of y'all in here now that we've been chitter chattering for 48 minutes.
Hey, we're having a good time, aren't we?
No, it's great. We are having a good time. Well, there's 5 of you now, so I'm going to do something different. I'm going to show you the knockout rose video real quick. Here we go, guys.
The great yellow sun is reflecting in your deep blue eyes. The day has begun. You spin around, you laugh to yourself. And I see you shine in every color, resting your head in my arms.
Hey, we're back. So we ran that earlier, but I thought since there's a bunch of y'all watching right now that I would just do it one more time. And let me take her comment off. Oh, yes, the roses. Oh, look. Pittsburgh 2-2 in the top of the 5th. Thank you, Hilly.
Go Stros.
Go Stros. Yeah, the roses. So what's your favorite knockout rose? I didn't ask you that earlier.
I'm a big partial fan of the drift roses.
Big partial or you're partial?
I'm partial to the drift roses. I'm from A&M. I went to A&M. I don't know. Anyway, if I had to pick one of the
sweet drift roses,
sweet drift is probably my favorite drift rose.
I like
because of the fragrance. You said it doesn't smell, but it does early in the morning. But my favorite knockout rose is the double pink.
Oh, that's why you got that to give away at our event. Oh, Hilly, you could come to our event at the Sugarland at the mall. First Colony Mall will be there this Saturday from 11 to 2 at J. Jill. Anyway, I like them all. You know what I don't like? The one that you see it's not that I don't like it. I'm tired of the one that all the homeowners associations use. And
it's the regular red. It's not the double red. It's just, that's the one that started it all. And that's why that guy's a billionaire.
Yeah. And it's great. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I love it that they have some newer ones now, different color, peach or yellow or things like that. I like that. And then I saw there's a mini knockout rose too, which I told them that I want just because I want to see it.
It's better to put in a little pod, put it on your little coffee table out in your patio.
But since he's the garden guy, I just ask him to give me stuff.
Yep.
I'm like, I want to have it. And he gets it for me. Oh, wisteria. Oh, wisteria smells so amazing, Joan. So
great
amazing.
juice, huh?
Oh my gosh.
My thoughts on wisteria is you better have a strong structure to hold it, or once it reaches its maturity, it's going to bring the structure down.
It is like a tree.
The trunks get so large on them. And
it's beautiful though. And the way those flowers hang down like grapes, I think. Oh, I think they're fabulous. And I will say this, they attract a lot of bees, which I'm allergic. So that's, I've seen people in the country. Remember that place in the country, Round Top, the inn, one of those bed and breakfasts. So Joan in Round Top at a bed and breakfast where he did some landscaping, they had an existing a place where you'd sit, an arbor type situation. They had tables under it and you'd sit. Very beautiful. How old do you think the wisteria was on that? I mean,
I don't know, 15, 20 years at that time.
I mean, big wisteria and gorgeous, like picturesque, big. They look like grapes, right? Hanging
and once
down.
It's established, it's not going anywhere. It takes the cold. It's going to come back.
And it smells so beautiful. But let me tell you this. I can't sit under that because
The bees.
are, and generally they're not going to bother you, but just for me, I don't really
It only
like
takes one, sweetheart.
It only takes one. But and wisteria are beautiful. They're just very, would you call them invasive?
It's a very invasive vine.
Yeah.
So
It's
you need to
invasive.
isolate it, and if you're growing it on a structure, make sure your structure is strong enough to hold
That's
it.
it. That's good. So isolate it and make sure the structure is strong. Good job. Good job with that. Good job with that, sweetheart. There you go, Jen. There's your answer. You can't come and see us? Darn it. All right. Well, we'll see you on another time. I mean, J. Jill was saying that maybe we would do an event with them again. I was like, well, we need to do the first one first.
Right.
But they're so great over there. Those ladies are so wonderful and so sweet to us. Well, guys, we have been on here for 52 minutes, which is a new world record for us. Anyway, we're happy that y'all joined us tonight with the Gulf Coast Garden Conversation. We'll be here next Tuesday, live on Facebook at 7:30. I want to thank Mike Fodge with Azomite for donating to us a giant bag of Azomite.
44 pounds.
44 pounds he gave us that we're going to use on our lawn and on our tomatoes and in our garden. And y'all should check out Azomite for your fertilization needs. You can get it at Sienna Mulch if you are in our area. And I'm not sure where else, but you can go to azomite.com and see all the benefits of it and find out where you can get your bag of Azomite. So thank you, Mike, so much. We appreciate you, your thoughtful commentary, your loyal patronage to our
Absolutely.
live events. And of course, the free bag is a wonderful thing for Todd and I. We will definitely use it here at our home and at our farm in Ledbetter. So thank y'all so much. Join us next week. Thank you, Joan. Come back again. And y'all make it a great night. Good night.